Blog Talk Radio.
Following ingredients include a look behind the scenes. Cook uncovered until hot. Add grooves to taste.
I would like, if I may, to take you on a strange journey.
Once upon a time, there was a little girl.
The accident was over a year ago. A second woman has been elected president. The 12th planet has been named in the solar system. The last wild polar bear has died. I slept through it all. I was here for my waking. He called it a beginning. He said it was good. I think he may have thought that anything I did was good.
Welcome to Transition Radio with your host, Mark Angelo Cummings. The show for trans folks by trans folks, here to let your voice be heard.
Well, hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to Transition Radio, live from the land of enchantment, Silver City, New Mexico. I'm Mark Angelo Cummings, your host. Before I start the show, I want to take a moment to thank my sponsor, thebreastformstore.com. They have everything you can imagine to enhance your feminizing needs. And also, check out Katie Leon, one of the amazing authors that I advertise on the website, www.transitionradio.net. Please visit the website, click on the link to check out the many books. And while you're there, please hit the donate button. No small amount is too small. Well, tonight, guys, I have a special treat for you. Two amazing guests, Milt, Quibner, and Mia Matters. They're the authors of Get Over Yourself. It's a handbook on cheating and betrayal. Their goal is to simplify the road to understanding by giving you, the reader, the power to face whatever life offers you. They firmly believe that it is our reaction to what takes place that is really at the core of our difficulties. And the many schools of psychology really do little more than confuse the client while draining their pocketbooks. Their booklet will help you deflate the intensity of your reaction while teaching you how to laugh at yourself and enjoy your life. Milton is a relationship specialist and the author of How High Should I Jump? The satirical guide for pleasing today's women, and Life Wizard. Mia Matters is an RN who specializes in the prevention and healthy living. Living in Northern California, they've been married 25 years and have 2 children together. They have their weekly podcast, Get Over Yourself, the Milt and Mia Show, and can be heard on iTunes, TuneIn, and Player.fm. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to my show, Mia and Milt. Hey, guys, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having us in your show. It's a pleasure to be here.
We're loving being here, Mark. Great honor.
That's awesome. Awesome. I think our my actual listeners will love this because it's I think a big issue in our world. It's like that old saying, men are from Mars, women are from Venus, or the other way around, and it's almost like no one really teaches us how to have a proper relationship and how to stay in a relationship. So you guys are doing an amazing job by providing this handbook and teaching us. So I have a few questions lined up here for you, and I guess you guys could take turn, or you could each give your feedback on the question. The show is 30 minutes live, and then there's an additional 15 minutes that goes in the recording mode. So we'll see how we go here. So what is the general aim? Okay. What is the general aim of your show and your work together? And what do you mean by Get Over Yourself?
Well, I think the general aim at what we're doing is to, you prefaced it pretty well, and that is to deflate the intensity of our reactions towards things. Specifically, Mia and I work in sexual relationships, and it's been our experience for quite a while that people make mountains out of molehills. They tend to take the smallest problems and exaggerate them, or conversely, when they first encounter a problem, it becomes overwhelming when it doesn't need to be. So on my end of things, I like to employ humor, a little sarcasm, and absurdity to show us how foolish we are in making these little tiny things into these monstrous molehills.
And also our goal is to, for people to be happy while we are living here. We are all here in a process of evolving to get ourselves better than we are. We are changing through the process of life. And why not have a great and a happy life if it's possible? Because when you are in harmony with yourself, when you're feeling good, you can only give good things for the planet and for the people that live around you. And our goal ultimately would be to have a better place for all of us to live. And by learning who we are and by deflating our problems and not wasting our time suffering, that's basically what we are trying to do. And we know that each individual has a power. So that's what we're trying to do, get people to find the power they have and bring the power out. And if everybody learns, then everybody can share with each other.
Yeah, it's interesting. You asked about what do we mean by get over yourself. And, it's a kind of a common phrase people say to somebody who's being a little bit haughty or overreactive. And that's really, again, the essence of things. To show you some perspective on where you're at in life, where you should be at in life, and who you are, and maybe more importantly, who you're not. In order to understand that life is to be lived each day. We're not here to suffer. We're not here to constantly drag our past life issues forward and keep analyzing them. No, with those things, our experiences are to teach us something to ultimately make our lives better. And so what Mia and I tend to do is in our show and in our books as well, we bring up, say, a problem, a cheating or betrayal, and we look at it with a sympathetic eye towards the problem itself, because it hurts. Like it or not, being betrayed is a painful experience. However, what we like to do is to, once we've offered a little sympathy, to say, all right, now what's your role in this thing? And because we have found in life that we are responsible to some degree for everything that happens in our lives.
And also problems are not really problems. Okay,
that is so true.
Go ahead,
because people constantly want to play the role of the victim, and they want to blame everybody else, and they don't look within themselves to see, how did I play a role in all this? So very good advice, definitely.
And also, problems are not, excuse me, but problems are not really problems. Problems are our best lessons that we can ever expect, because they only make us better. If we didn't have any problems, if we don't have any issues, how are we going to learn things in life? But you got the power to make your decision, and that's what we are there for. Maybe to give a different options that you never really thought about it. But we all have the power within ourselves.
Mark, what's interesting to me, and we're kind of running counter to the current, if you will. We employ philosophical tools to take apart and then put back together, like Mia says, our so-called our problems. We don't employ psychology or analysis or traditional therapy. Ultimately, as far as I'm concerned, those are disempowering techniques, if you will. Now, there's some people that get a lot out of counseling, and I'm not going to criticize that at all. But for the majority of people who are in line there at their counselors, we really think that these are not psychological issues. They are more philosophical. In other words, they are issues that all of us struggle with, all of us share, especially now in this civilization, this high-speed civilization where we are all so separated and fragmented and isolated from one another. Psychology, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't really serve those needs. Philosophy, however, the learning of how to live wisely and to deal through your problems is the tools that we employ. And I have no better evidence that it's working than our audience, and which is growing by leaps and bounds, and people seem to be really appreciative of this alternative view that we present.
Yeah, and people are tired of this problem. People are tired of this problem-based society because everything appears to be a problem. Like you said, they make mountains out of a molehill, and there's no need for that. Go ahead, Mia.
And also we need to learn to use our family and people that we rely on. Before in time, you never went to a psychologist. You went to your uncle, you went to your aunt, you went to your neighbor. People now, you want to go to the Internet to find your solutions. We are not communicating the way we used to. Yeah, Internet is a great resource. I mean, we are out here now. We are trying to share, and we can learn many things. But we need to learn our interpersonal relations. We need to learn how to communicate with each other instead of always going, to a professional person to find your problems. You can find your problems within the people that you live and use the community that you have. That's something that's lacking. In other cultures, we do that, but in America, not as much. And I think that's something that we need to start getting back to. Learning your neighbors, learning your friends, your cousins. Communicate with the people that know you best. How can a psychologist that barely met you for 5 minutes, just read your history, know who truly you are, right? So,
one of the interesting things that I'm finding in what we're doing is that people are initially a little bit bothered by our position, because if you listen to our show or read any of our work, I tend to mock my own and other people's conditions. It's, like I said before, it's an attempt to deflate things. But people, I've had all sorts of people say, geez, that's rather offensive. And I reply, stay with me, listen to the show, read our book, go past your initial reaction to things, and you'll find something there. And the last few months, we have been overwhelmed with people who have gone through that process and have said, hey, you guys are really talking another language that makes sense to me. That once I was able to get past it, we were just looking at an email here about a couple weeks ago. A woman had written in saying the only way that I've ever found any sort of sense of peace is through psychology and counseling. But my word, I didn't know this type of thought existed. And, Mia and I are not doing anything really new in that sense. We're tapping into the historical train that has always been there. And what my wife said earlier is absolutely correct. We've lost our connections to our grandfather, the great aunt that you used to go automatically and share your situation with. Those connections aren't there anymore. So and it's very difficult to reconnect them. But what we can do is learn some of the essential philosophical tools that cultures in the West have always used to deal with their situations.
And the tribal
ways.
In the tribal ways that we are used to, I mean, everything stayed in the tribe. The tribe helped each other. It was a community type of thing. Now we seem to give all this power to men in white coats or people with a sort of degrees. And it's like we've lost our own inner guidance, and that's why we need to reconnect with our own inner guidance. Definitely.
Well, you make a good point, because the high priest is now the guy in the white coat. We used to go to the high priest and experience spiritual rituals in all sorts of tribes. Well, now that we don't do the ritual anymore, but there is the priest dressed in his white coat. And I tend to mock the expert. People are really tired on the one hand of having to go to the expert, pay their money, deal with the guy's personality in order to get the thing they're looking for. So I tend to like to make a little fun about this character.
And I think something that's lacking in people, too, they are not using their intuition like we used to before. You kind of had your gut feeling and you knew something was about to happen. When you are constantly searching for results outside of yourself, you forget that you have the greatest power within yourself. Many times we know the answer, but you avoid the truth, and then you stay on that doomness of having problems and suffering, where then you look back and you say, my intuition was right. I knew exactly what I had to do, but I didn't follow my intuition. I went to the wrong direction. But even though the wrong direction, there is nothing wrong. Some people have different patterns, and we are all here to learn. It's our experiences, but I think we got to go back to the roots that we used to have before, and our intuition is one of the greatest gifts we have, that we need to bring that back again.
But unfortunately, they teach us from the time we're little not to do that. They teach us to go outside of us for the answers, and the answers are within us. And I'm so glad we're in the same alignment, and I guess that's why we cross paths, because we believe in the same things. Let me ask you, you have two different relationship books on the market, the Get Over Yourself Handbook on cheating and betrayal, and the other one is Get Over Yourself Handbook on creating happiness in a relationship. Can you describe these books in a brief manner and why you feel they should be read?
Well, the the Cheating and Betrayal Manual takes a number of issues that seem to people really stumble over, loss of trust, infidelity, cheating, betrayal, these type of things. And what we've done in them is to show a very simple, clear path through the problem. The Creating Happiness in a Relationship booklet is a little different cat because, for one, people think, well, happiness, isn't that kind of naive? And I mean, who could really be happy? No, we believe that you can create an increasingly better state of happiness. But most people, because we're so fragmented and so disconnected to our sources, most people really don't understand the essential elements towards what needs to be in a relationship, what should be there, and what they must have in order to achieve increasingly better experiences and aimed towards happiness. Now, these books are as simple and short as we can get. I think what's most unique about them is that they're not hundreds of pages with all sorts of technical terms. We've stripped it down to some very basic terminology that everybody can relate to, and our so-called answers are simply the pieces of understanding that you can use to reflect upon your life. I don't believe, and I know Mia doesn't believe in immediate cures for anything. You didn't get into this problem instantly, and you're not going to get out of it instantly. What is required is turning away from the sources and the tools that aren't working towards the things that can work for you, including, as Mia mentioned, your intuition. Because it's our belief that you know what's right and wrong within you. But we've just become so clouded with information, so many different alternative choices we can make. We end up getting paralyzed by all these choices that we're just not sure what to do. Our books show you a very clear and simple path on dealing with the problems and then setting up your relation and preventing problems. That's really the essence of both books.
Yeah, prevention is our goal. So, but basically, our books also it looks at yourself. It's a lot of personal question, and the first one, cheating and betrayal, and the second one we have like a compatibility list between couples. What does it really work for couples if you're going to be together? It's because it's the basic things that make people happy. One of the things that we discussed about is diet, right? If you're a vegetarian, your husband eats meat, how well that's going to work, and how much complication that brings into a marriage, right? One person's a vegetarian, the other one likes meat, and you're going to cook in the kitchen, and the smell bothers the other person. In the beginning, you're going to say, oh, no, we can make it work it out. But think about it with time. So that's what basically our book is just trying to look at basic human necessities, and we analyze a little bit, and we discussed it, and start to help people just because a lot of times we don't even know what we want. We have so many options out there. Like Milt say, we have so many options. We forget what the basic of being happy means. So,
and me, if I could jump in there, another thing is that we forget that we have the keys to our happiness in our own hands. And now tribes and traditional societies understood this. But like I say, we've been fragmented now. Our modern civilization has cut us off from all these things. And what's exciting now is that so many people are returning, re-examining the old ways, and we're synthesizing and finding new ways to look at them. I mean, Mark, there's no coincidence that you and I and Mia connected here. It's like there's a tribe of people coming together who are speaking the same or similar language. We're all going toward the same area. We're all bypassing the big systems, institutions, and all of the hierarchies. We're saying this is the period of do-it-yourself, and each of us are contributing in that way what we can. Mia and I come from a philosophical background, and what my wife said earlier, and I think it is the key to leading your life properly and enjoying it, is to become intuitive. We must use reason, and ration is a part of how we operate here, but we've so overburdened our reasonable qualities that we just don't understand our intuition anymore. We don't even know what it is that it's talking to us or what it's telling us. And so people like me and I are pointing the way, if you will, toward rediscovering that inner voice.
And also,
it's important to lead a healthy lifestyle. It's important to lead a healthy lifestyle, be in touch with our spirituality, not religion. Look at our temple as something that is very important so that our minds aren't clogged and so we're able to receive the messages that we need to receive. Sorry, Mia, go right ahead.
That's good. That's what I was going to say, basically, is that we are out here spiritual beings living in a material world. In our life, we believe in cycles. Look at the planet. We have times when God was the center, man was the center again. We are always spiritual beings here that we are in a process of growth. And we can never forget our essence. And it's so easy to be so materialistic with all the things that we have around us now. You can totally get lost in the materialism, especially when you're looking at the internet.
This is the problem, is we have become lost as a society and as individuals. And so it seems absurd, Mark, to have a book that tells you how to construct a relationship in order to be happy, but we've found that so many people just don't understand the different elements. I mean, we've broken it down. We have what Mia calls our compatibility checklist, and you think, well, it's common sense. But my gosh, Mark, common sense is in extremely short supply these days. So we've gone ahead and laid out some of the elements that have to be or you must have for your relationship to move into happiness. And elements like, friendships, financial questions, regular communications with each other, sleep patterns, for instance, that we've just taken a real practical look at what happens in most relationships, what should be there, and then what are the problems and why did they occur? And out of this understanding, voila, there is our second booklet.
And being an individual within a unit in a marriage, there should not be expectation of privacy. We all want to give each other space to be who they are, but at the same time, you need to know all the intimate things about the person that you are living with.
Well, speaking of that, we were speaking to a person a while back, and they said, well, if there's one thing that has to be there at the beginning of a relationship that generally isn't, what would you recommend? And I mean, we both said it at the same time. We said honesty.
Yeah.
Because especially for men at the beginning of a relationship, we tend to exaggerate and do anything we can to snag the object of our desire. We'll tell her or him anything they want to hear in order to get in their pants, right? And that is not the road to happiness, because your lives sooner rather than later are going to fall apart, and then what? Then you've lost that trust that you're trying to build. So as difficult as it is, we stress honesty above everything else, because if you can communicate honestly with your partner, man, you can get over you can get over everything.
And also be honest. If you're honest, I was just going to say, honesty has to come within yourself to begin with. When you lie, you only lie to yourself. So that's what we believe. Just be honest all the time. This way you are truly who you are when you are honest, because if you are lying, you're not really showing who you are. And we should be proud of who we are. That's what we need to be more in this planet. Proud and recognize who we are, because we are elements here that we are here to become better.
I just think.
So what's the most important mistake? What is the most important mistake people make as a couple? And what should they do otherwise?
There are several. It really depends on. There's one that strikes me more than anything else, and that is people, when they enter into relationships, they maintain separate existences. Now, I am not saying, and you'll find me throughout my latest booklet, I'm not claiming that a couple needs to be clones of each other. They don't. I'm not saying you have to spend 27 hours a day and be, smothering each other. That's not what I'm talking about. But so many of the problems that couples experience are because they are not sharing togetherness on a regular basis. We encounter this all the time with couples that let's say the man likes to golf, but she hates to golf, but he insists on his time to golf. So every weekend he's out there on the links. She doesn't have anything to do, so she wanders off to the gym, and then she meets somebody else. or she simply becomes disgusted with this indulgence in a habit that she has no interest in. So,
and I think one of the greatest problems, too, is people don't spend enough time together nowadays. You go to your work, your spouse go to the work, and you barely have any time to spend with each other. So that becomes a great problem, because the person that you marry and you decide to be your partner, that's the person that you're going to spend the night with, you're going to cook. And if you don't have enough time to know who the person is, that becomes a great problem. Because when two people are together, they help it, and they are made for each other. They help each other to become a better person. One complements the other, and that's what it should be in a relationship, with the yin and the yang, the cold and the warmth, the balance. But for that to happen, you need to know each other, and you need to spend enough time together.
And another thing, I could go on all day on this, but one of the key things, I think, is in learning, and this applies to gay couples, straight, all people, all humans can benefit from this type of work. It strikes me more and more that what is essential, and I said this earlier, honesty. Part of honesty is learning who you are not, what you don't do well, the things that you may not have an interest in and are simply just, it's not you. This is a nation now of dabblers, of dilettantes, people trying all sorts of things because they can, and the choice is available to them. But in the course of development and becoming an adult, really, the essence of becoming an adult is to learn your limits, to understand your prejudices. If you don't have limits and prejudices, you can't make choices. You can't take advantage of this society. And part of learning about what you like and dislike is learning about, Mia said it, who you are, but I like to say who you are not. And that is that process of being honest first and foremost with yourself. And the thing is, it doesn't happen overnight. You just don't take a pill and go, boom, I understand.
And another problem, too, is blaming each other. If you're not happy, it's when you start blaming the other. I'm not happy because of you. You're not giving me enough attention. And woman does that more than men usually. It's always blaming on the other person for their unhappiness. If you cannot make yourself happy, nobody else can make you happy. So instead of blaming somebody else, try to see what's wrong and change it yourself. But blaming each other in a relationship, I think that's one of the greatest mistakes a couple can make it.
This is the essence, Mark, if I can ramble a little bit longer, of our first booklet and really what is at the heart of our show. By making fun of our problems, and looking at our responsibility in our problems, we tend to pull that finger back from pointing at others to our responsibility, which is the only way to live. My contention with therapy is that it's all about, or has been, finding the person who did this to me. I don't buy into that. I did it to myself. What is my relationship to what happened here? I don't want to point fingers. The only finger I need to point to is at me. And so I like to make fun of me because I don't want to feel bad. I understand that life is to be lived and enjoyed. I don't want to drag around my carcass in this state of suffering. And I hate to see others as well. So I think, going right back to what the first question you asked us, what is your show about? It's about pulling the finger of blame, stopping blaming. Blaming is absurd. It doesn't actually make sense. You can get a whole list of explanations and find all the perpetrators, and at the end of the day, so what? You're still dealing with you. Let's drop all that. Let's learn to be who we are and who we're not, and find our roads through our problems as simply and easily as possible.
And another problem, too, is guilty. People carry so much guilt with themselves. If they think I made a mistake, they look bad.
Oh, yeah.
And they suffer, and they go on and on and on. Without
it's
any
too hard.
necessity. Yeah,
it's too hard to look at your own
yourself.
problems, so it's easier to look at somebody else's problems or blame somebody else.
Yeah.
Because the relationship failed, and it's like, oh, no, it's not my fault. It's your fault. And you should have done this, and you should have done that. And it's like, okay, wait a minute. Why don't you look within and figure out where you played in all this?
Right, exactly.
It takes two to tango,
Exactly.
And it doesn't, And don't see your problems as problems. I always say that your problems might be the greatest teacher you ever had. And don't blame the guy or the woman, whatever relationship you had. Just see that as a lesson. Look back and see what you learned. That person might be the greatest gift you had.
And it's, Mia's right on it. I hate the word mistake, because that is cruel to you. You didn't make a mistake. That's the process of your life, man. Another thing that we really focus on is learning to be gentle with each other and ourselves. Stop browbeating yourself. Stop putting yourself into states of guilt that make you feel terrible. What good is that going to do you? It isn't that you made a mistake. That was what you did at that time, and now you're moving forward, right? Let's stay in the present moment. In fact, that's a great thing that my wife does. She teaches us to be in the present moment. And that's really hard for us. That is, because we're always looking back and we're always afraid of the future. But if we can find ourselves in the present moment, boy, so many of our problems just dissipate.
Yeah, we live in a society that's so competitive that you always need to be the best of everything that you do. And we all need to learn that we are all at different levels. Accept the level you're at. I'm not going to say don't become a better person, because that's our goal, is to evolve and to reach the greatest potential we can while we are here. Don't waste your time. Don't waste opportunities. But stop blaming yourself and feeling guilty, because that kind of paralyzes you and doesn't allow you to keep on going in life. So we all need to learn to take a deep breath and emphasize a lot exercising too and getting outdoors, because when you talk about intuition, what a greatest gift, the nature and being outdoors. You go out there and you see how the trees move and how the earth goes and the cycle of the planet and the cycles of the earth. It's all wonderful. So one of the greatest things that we all need to do as a couple and as a human, to learn to go outside, look at our environment, take a deep breath, turn off the internet, don't watch TV before you go to bed, go look at the stars. Being within nature is one of the greatest things we can do, and we don't spend enough time outdoors nowadays. You work in a computer, then you go home and you go to the computer again to check your email, and the internet now makes us so addicted, and then the cell phones and iPhones, you're constantly looking at that image. Look how many people died because they were looking at the cell phone and had accidents. We are not looking at surroundings anymore. Yeah,
and then you numb yourself with pills and alcohol and food, and it's just a vicious cycle. But it's all set up this way in the system so that you don't get to look within, because they want you always to be searching, chasing things. It's crazy. So mention you have.
We have the power to change, and each one of us, we are here for that purpose right now in our lives, because the government doesn't care when you are dead, and nobody else will care for you. But your soul, it's your personal responsibility. You have this body is just a temple, but you have something greater inside of you. If you don't take care of yourself, and if you don't treat your soul, and if you don't treat your body as a temple, what do you expect to be in this life?
Yeah.
You don't blame the government too. Yeah, the government want to numb us, but we have a brain, and we have the power to think. And nobody tells us how to think unless we want to be numb, unless we accept what everybody else is telling us. You don't need to accept what I'm saying. I always say that to people. I'm giving an advice to you, but if you don't want to listen to me, fine. You got your own power. You got an intuition. Turn yourself on for this life. Bring your light and shine. Let your light shine to the planet. That's what we are here for, ultimately. The rest is all, just part of life.
Illusion.
So you have some additional new products coming out. Do you want to tell us a little bit about them, and where can people find you and learn more about you?
Well, we've got what we're calling our sexual fantasy virtual cards coming up, because now that's going to be sometime after the first of the year, I think. And what they are is a bunch of sexual fantasy scenarios that men and women or couples, however they want to do it, can perform with each other to lighten up those dull bedrooms that so many people are suffering through these days. They're pretty hot fantasies. I'm not going to say too much about them. If you come to our website, you can learn how those are being, the progress on them and when it's going to be out. But we do know that people are suffering from a lack of imagination in this society. We're, as Mia just pointed out, we're sitting passively waiting for the government to do it for us. So we don't buy into that. What we're doing is giving people a hand to spice up their bedrooms, to show them how to, Mark, really the essence is how to enjoy the thrill of cheating while doing it with each other and maintaining your monogamy. It sounds crazy, but why can't couples enjoy infidelity, all these crazy sexual fantasies that running around behind their backs? Why not run around with each other behind and in front of your back? So
yeah, learn to play games with each other. Have a little fun and avoid the headaches of betrayal, because I have never heard of any betrayal that turns out to be a great thing. Yeah. And then afterwards you're going to feel guilty, you're going to feel ashamed of yourself. We are not here to feel all those things, So that's why the fantasy cards are there, and I think it would be a wonderful product. If it came at Christmas time, that would be a great Christmas gift.
I'm doing the best I can. It's taking a while, but really that's the essence of it. Why not enjoy, because there's nothing like illicit sex, or else people wouldn't be doing it. It creates and allows such an amazing rush of sensation. So we're saying, hey, let's bring that back into the couple. Why can't we enjoy this thing? So what we're doing is we're laying out a number of fantasies and scenarios that either person in the relationship can be the lead role. And really, Mark, what we're doing in our work, our fantasy cards and everything, is to turning each other into the agents and directors of our lives rather than the passive audience, the one that sits and just receives life. That's kind of what we've been doing for the longest time and where we're going. And certainly in our fantasy cards, it makes you the actor, you the director, and within the safety of monogamy. And I do want to suggest that people come by our website where all of our stuff is at, and that is miltandmiashow.com, MILTNMIA show, SHOW.com. And there you can find our books, our podcast links, our weekly blog. There's a link to our blog. Everything that we're doing is on that site, and and
any questions that anybody has, we'll be happy to answer very cheaply. You don't need to spend any money with psychology. Ask us, and we got the answer.
That's another thing, if you don't mind my throwing this in, is that we've been really blessed by having a readership and a listenership of people that tend to send their questions in, crazy as they may be, to us, and they've found that we're capable of kind of breaking their issues apart and showing them the path through the problem. So I know a lot of people are a little hesitant about writing into a show or sending in their problems, but you will find at the Milt and Mia Show a welcome door to any problem that you're dealing with that has anything to do with life issues, relationships, or whatever. That's the place to go. We are, like I say, we are friends to those out there wandering around. We're fellow brothers and sisters who've gone through our own struggles. We're a little more mature now, and we've stayed to the course of our own intuition. Mia and I have been following our intuition for the longest time, and we're proponents of it. And so when you come by our website and you check out our links, what you're going to get is a hand that can help you. And it'll be a simple hand. We're not going to complicate you with a lot of terminology or concepts that you just don't need.
Yeah,
or a bunch of pills.
We made our book. Well, we made the book short, too, because people don't spend a lot of time reading anymore. You just go to the Internet, and everybody wants a very quick answer to everything. So we say, let's make this book very concise, very simple, so people don't need to spend a lot of time reading, and they will get the basic of what they need to be happy and to get to know themselves. That's our goal, ultimately, is to make each individual a better person so we can have a better planet. We already have too many bad things happening around us, so let's try to turn around. That's our belief.
I want to thank you guys so much for this time and such amazing information. And I definitely resonate with everything that you're saying. It's the same thing that I promote, and I think we would have a better world if everyone followed the advice that both of you gave today. And thank you once again. And I will definitely send me your website to my email so that I could post it. I'm going to make you guys a little page on my website so people could click and listen to you guys or go directly to you for any questions. Once again, thank you.
Thank you for having us here and sharing this time and opportunities for us to share with whoever is out there listening. Just everybody who's listening to us today, they got the power. They can change their lives. Don't wait for another day. Start today, because who knows how long we're going to be here. We might all be gone tomorrow. So don't waste your life opportunity. That's what I tell to everybody. And thank you for having us here.
Yes, Mark. Thank you very much, because, you know, we are brothers and sisters talking the same language, each of us in our own areas working, but I'm just encouraged that so many people now, since the turn of the century, if you will, so many people are moving in the same direction.
Acquires age.
It's early on in the game, Mark. We're going to get there. Yeah. More and more people are picking up on this. More and more people are understanding. Look where we'll be, or imagine where we'll be in 15, 20 years. The communities and the systems that we've set up. Man, really, this is an exciting time.
It is. It's a shift taking place. Thank you so much once again. Good luck in everything you do in the future. Thank you.
Our pleasure.
Thanks
for having us on.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Well, remember, guys, to tune in Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Gay Live Television. You could either watch directly from the website or go directly to them. We have Yuri. He's an eclectic artist that will leave a smile on your face. Make sure to subscribe to Gay Live Television to catch all of the latest interviews. Guys, thank you so much. Remember, I love you. But always, always love yourselves too. Good night.